concerned about the impact of high-frequency radio transmissions on birds, found that there is no evidence of a higher mortality rate among hatchlings and nests near cell towers. They based this conclusion on a test using alpha of 0.05. Would they have made the same decision at alpha is equal to 0.10? And how about alpha equal to 0.01? Explain.
No. You can't just say that.
So we need to decide. So they said there is no evidence. So what does that imply?
No. Wait.
Number. They failed to reject the null.
They failed to reject the null at an alpha of 0.05. Which, what does that tell us then about the p-value?
It's greater than 0.05.
So the p-value is greater than 0.05. Now, they want us to see if the same decision would have been made at alpha of 0.1. So would the same decision have been made for an alpha of 0.1?
Yes.
No. How do you figure it out?
How about of 0.01?
No.
So if it was higher than 0.05, what must also be the case about 0.01?
It was
Oh,
higher than
0.01.
It also has to be higher than that one. So at an alpha equal to 0.01, the same decision had to have been made because the p-value must have been greater than 0.01 because it was greater than 0.05. So now at 0.1, what about that decision? Or is there enough information?
There is not enough information.
There's not, okay? Because we would need to know more stuff about it to know if that's the case. So at an alpha equal to 0.1, either decision is possible. Because all we know is that P is greater than 0.05. But it could be 0.053, right? But it also could be 0.75. We don't know what the number is, so we're unsure about the decision at 0.1.
Well, we know it could be 0.5.
So we don't know enough information to be able to answer that question. Have harsher penalties and ad campaigns increased seatbelt use among drivers and passengers? Observations of commuter traffic failed to find evidence of a significant change compared to 3 years ago. Explain what the study's p-value of 0.17 means in this context. So what would the null be in this situation? The null hypothesis. So it's not going to be a number, just in words.
No would be
So like the number of
evidence of significant change.
seat values will stay the same. Or
So, Peyton, what you said is going to be the alternative. That a change or an increase or something like that is going to be what the alternative. The null is going to be that it's staying the same. Yep. So the null is going to be seatbelt use is the same as 3 years ago. The alternate is that seatbelt use has changed, but specifically in this case, it specifies increased, so we're going to say increased, but I'm just going to put change because in any form of which it has changed would be. So based on the p-value that we have, what are we doing?
are you looking for how many tails there are?
No,
Or is
not yet. Well, not at all in this question. Are we rejecting or failing to reject?
it failing to reject?
Yep.
Yes.
So we Fail to reject the null because the p-value is not low. Okay, and it doesn't specify an alpha level, but even if it did, we go up to an alpha of 0.1, 0.17 is still higher than that, right?
Okay.
So. So then explain what that means in context. So this would say that assuming seatbelt use is the same as 3 years ago, we would see sample results as extreme or more extreme about 17% of the time due to sampling variability. Alright, this next problem actually has 3 parts to it. It's not just the one at the bottom, so we'll just wait and do that tomorrow. We should get, well, how many pages is it? I would say we'll probably get through it tomorrow. These questions aren't very long, to be honest.
It's not really any math.
Well, there will be. Like, the next question's gonna have a little bit, but most of it's calculator math. 1 Prop Z test and 1 Prop Z interval are gonna be our friend in this one. And then determining left or right tail. When we get to looking at the error problems, then obviously,
Oh, yeah.
but typically with error, it might ask you, like, it might give you a thing and say, what type of error is this? But a lot of them are gonna say, if a type 1 error occurred, what would it be? And we're going to be writing what a type 1 error would be. If a type 2 error occurred, what would that look like in the situation of this problem? And we'll be actually writing it out, yeah.
Okay.
So that'll be kind of what we do with that. So, and we'll have a couple of those. And like, it'll also sometimes ask you, like, what is the impact of this type of error occurring? Like, what's the problem with this, you know?
Okay.
And which one do you, like, it might even ask you which one do you think is worse in this context and things like that. Because obviously it can be different depending on the scenario.
Yeah.